It is 6:03. We'll start with attendance. Helene. Here. Mary.
Here. Yep.
Meg.
Yes.
Present. Michael.
Yes.
Present. Sarah.
Here.
Present. Lauren. We're taking attendance.
Here.
Present. And Jay. Present. All right. First item on the agenda, as always, is just the review and approval of our August meeting minutes. Mary, as usual, has done an outstanding job. I reviewed them myself and had no notes. It was a pretty quick meeting, if you recall. Did anybody have any questions or concerns regarding that? Meg?
Thank you. Only that when I clicked into the agenda to review them, what actually came up were the July minutes.
Okay.
Was my mistake then, Meg. Now that you have Rebecca, these mistakes are just going to be gone. I'm sure she'll make no mistakes.
Come on.
The pressure's on, Rebecca.
No worries. I just wasn't able to review them because I just haven't seen them yet.
I'm sorry. I must have done the wrong link. Do you want me to send those out right now, Jay?
Yeah, if possible, that would be good. I mean, I did
Sure.
review them, and I thought that it very accurately reflected our minutes, or our meeting rather. As always, Mary's very thorough.
Well, you know,
So-
maybe we should just do the approval of the minutes next time.
Yeah, why don't we do that? That's a great idea. I like that. We'll push that until next meeting, and we can
Sorry
take a
about
look at
that.
that.
Okay.
That's a great
Alright.
idea.
So I
All right.
move to do the approval of the minutes at the next meeting.
All right. Motion made and seconded to do our review and approval of the August agenda at our October meeting. Take a roll call vote. Helene? Yes. Mary?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And Jay, yes. Outstanding. So item number 2 is just the CPA admin transition. As you know, Naomi is moving on, and we have hired Rebecca Jones to take her place. So I wanted just to start off by welcoming Rebecca. She started this week and last week, and has really hit the ground running. She's we've been just uploading her on just our different processes, what we're working on. Naomi's been outstanding in terms of the transition. Rebecca had a meeting with Jamie from purchasing, which went very, very well. Jamie was excited and had a lot of positive feedback about that meeting. So Rebecca, welcome. Would you like to say anything? You certainly don't have to, but you're very welcome to if you'd like.
Thank you all for having me, and I'm excited to get started and supporting this commission.
Wonderful, Rebecca. Welcome, and certainly we'll all be getting to know her better. The start has been great. And then part 2 of this is we're saying goodbye to our outgoing admin, Naomi. I can say personally, I told you this morning. I understand. I'm very happy for you, but I'm slightly sad to see you go. I think we've had a great work relationship, and we've done some really good stuff together, and just kind of slogged through and learned together in a lot of things. And I think it's been great. So I just wanted to thank you for your time, and thank you for your good contributions to our city that we all love. And I just wanted, if you wanted to say a few words, I think that the members may also have some follow-up as well, but please, Naomi.
I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. It was an 8-month, I had the job 8 months, and I learned so much, and I really got to know the city, and deeper way. I thought it was an amazing opportunity. I think this committee rocks. Everybody on the committee is so talented and gives so much of their time. And, you know, when I started, I was fully confident that this job would be a good fit. And I struggled a lot with Munis, and Rebecca's already there. She's already right there with Munis. I have a feeling Rebecca's going to be a better match for the position. And I think you guys are going to be in great hands. And I thank you for all the support and the help. And it was a pleasure to work side by side with all of you. So I'm grateful that I got to do it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
Anybody
Naomi.
else?
We wish you the very best.
All right, I'm
And,
going to log off.
Well, we would just
Absolutely.
goodbye, Naomi. We wish you the best. And yes,
Thank you,
it
Mary.
was wonderful getting to know you. And I hope we see you again soon. We'll see
Yes,
you
well-
around Holyoke.
Yes,
You
we
never
will.
know. I might show up for the presentations and I might come to some CPA meetings.
Please do.
do.
Please do.
Yeah.
As is your right as a Holyoke resident.
All right. All right. Good luck. Have a good meeting, everybody. Bye.
Bye, Naomi.
Thank
See you,
you.
Naomi. Take care.
All right. Naomi's really been great for us in the transition. She's gone out of her way, so it's been great. Agenda item number 3, we welcome our new Park and Rec Director, John Moquin. We had an opportunity to meet with John, Sarah, and I, and Naomi, maybe, I don't know, 2 months ago, just to sort of, get on the same page about the different projects and just make sure John was familiar with our processes. And John's really hit the ground running. He's got a lot going on. He wears a lot of hats in the city of Holyoke. I know he's involved in youth sports as well, and has done a great job starting. So, John, we just wanted to welcome you to the committee, just so the members are able to get to know you a little bit. And we were hoping that you'd be able to talk a bit on our 2 active projects at Jones Point and Gloutak Field. John.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Jay. Obviously, like, my name's Jonathan Moquin. I know a few of you. I met with Mike Falsetti once, Sarah and Jay, like you said. Eileen's on our board, so I see her often. And just about myself, like, I before taking the Park and Rec position, I was with the DPW as the construction inspector. And just like, as far as in the community, I am the president of Holyoke Youth Football. I'm a part of Paper City Basketball. My daughters are Paper City Soccer. I'm a vice president of Nueva Esperanza, so I do a lot of stuff in the community. But I've also, like, watched a lot of people think I'm weird for it, but watched a lot of meetings on my own time at work. So I do know, like, at least the ins and outs a little bit of CPA and the connection to the city council meetings and stuff like that. So I might know, like, Meg a little more than she might know. Like, I feel like I know you a little bit, but once I started June 2nd, it took a little bit because I was still doing, I'm just going to get to, like, why I feel a little delayed in these projects. But June 2nd, I started, and I was still doing a lot of DPW stuff, taking a lot of emails, permits, probably for like a month. And then, the pool opened, and then we had fireworks, and then football season was around. But always in the back of my head, I knew that, these projects were going on with CDBG, CPA, and kind of learning my role. After hearing Ty and Bond's involved, is our engineers more in charge of me? So after doing some research, I finally caught up. Like, pretty simple one is Gloutak right now. Gloutak, I just got to get a PO started so we can order all of the equipment, the playground equipment. And I have 2 estimates, still waiting on one. I know Eileen at our meeting, we spoke about that, but I need one more estimate for the concrete pad to go in. Andrew from Emmy O'Brien or O'Brien and Sons has a delivery date after we order of like 4 to 7 weeks. And the concrete would have to be poured at least 2 weeks before that. So, if we get that PO done, let's say by next week, and I give him the go ahead, there still would be time to come out and do that work, in my opinion, even if we're almost to November or something like that. And then as far as Jones Point, Victoria, myself, and Tim Grace from Ty and Bond met at Jones Point probably early August. We then received the final plans from him, probably like around the 18th of August. I then spread that around, sent it to Emmy O'Brien because I know we moved the location of the playground. After I sent it to O'Brien, there was a change order needed because there's now like $9,000 more of pour in place needed for the playground. So once that change order is in place, and
Mind saying why it needs to be more?
I can, and I did leave some notes back at the office, but I believe the connection from maybe the equipment to the swings is different now. There's a, and I can send you that if I haven't. I think I might have, but I'll send you his exact response about why. It might be a description in the new invoice I sent to you, Jay. I'm not sure. He might have wrote that in there. But he's confident that once we get that going, he could be here in October to get the playground equipment built and then finish it off in, I think, November for the pour-in place. He's confident that we can do that. So I think also that would connect to Gloutak if we can get that PO and get the equipment. And maybe it takes those 5 weeks, 6 weeks. He could probably bang out both around the same time. And that's really where I'm at with that. And then I know when I was talking to Tim and Victoria at Jones Point, Tim's big thing about the rest of the work as far as the walking path, the trash cans, the resurfacing of the basketball court. He thinks, you know, his recommendation at least was we hold off on putting it out to bid till January because at this time of year, contractors are going to try to go through the roof with pricing and all that. And I'm with some of the other opinions. I know, Meg, you spoke about, I kind of want to get this off the table. I want to see both of these projects done so that I can be fresh and have my input on projects from the beginning to end. So I do want to get this, you know, finished already. So I will push for, and I sent an email out to Mary, just said her name, Victoria and Matt.
Mary Monahan.
Yeah, Mary McMonahan,
Yep.
Victoria, and Matt Solkop to try to at least help me out in the next few days to get their opinions to see if, you know, is it really worth holding off or can we get this done sooner than later? Mary, I think, is out at a conference and should be back. I'm not sure when, but I think she's been there a few days now. And I'm just waiting for Victoria and Matt to give their input. And I think maybe if they just give me one person that directly wants to deal with the project, it might be easier as well. I put that in there. But that is something that I'm not gonna, you know, stop on now. Like I said, it took me a little time, but now I'm in just straight project mindset and want to get these things done. It's really what I have for now, but.
Great. Thanks, John. Do we have any questions for John on
Yes.
those? Sarah.
Yes, thank you so much for the overview, John. Just a couple quick questions. So I take it Ty and Bond completed the survey. What's the status of any kind of stormwater design, as that would have to be completed prior to installation of any playground equipment?
The last when we met in person, I think not. I think he had concerns about something outside of the project as far as like separation and stuff, but Victoria said that that wouldn't be a problem on the field. I think we were talking more drainage on where the parking spaces or along the fence.
Okay.
Be a lot simpler situation there. There was no
So
concern.
Victoria, sounds good. So
Yeah.
Victoria and Matt are in that, and they're kind of going over that. And then I know the playground area is outside of any kind of wetland boundary or endangered species habitat, but I do believe, and I mean, it'll ultimately depend on what the final design shows, but just be mindful because I do believe part of where one of the walking paths was going was kind of within some of the wetland boundaries for the river, and that's just something that the Conservation Commission will also have to look at. So you might want to, once that's finalized, just kind of get Yoni involved as well.
He's I did speak with him maybe a week or two ago. I put him in an email with Victoria. He thinks there should be no problem. He doesn't think there's any problem. He thinks once she, you know, I got to get Victoria and him back together maybe, but he thinks that's going to be just fine. There was no
Awesome. And that makes
Wonderful.
a lot of sense. Okay, thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure all those.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Just want to invite like anybody, any time of day, like to give me a call, come stop by and, you know, give me your input. I'd like to be around people that might have a little more knowledge on the project or what their goals are on the project, how I can get it done faster. Like I definitely want to see anybody that is interested to show up at any time. Just give me an email, a text, and I'll make it happen. Show up to where you are. You can come down to the office, but I'm open to that.
Yeah, I think my biggest question is just around timeline and knowing that we've sort of heard, you know, for a variety of reasons, like, you know, well, we need to wait for the survey or we should wait to go out to bid. And then, well, I think we made it too long. Let's now wait more to go out to bid. Like we've just heard it through a couple rounds. So I know that, honestly, the work that's remaining is finishing the, the entrance, right? So it'd be the walking path and also the benches, the poured in place resurfacing of the basketball court, and then putting in the new parking spaces, the fence, and the entryway, along with a number of plantings, right? Like creating like a pollinator style native garden as you're coming into the front through that entryway. Because right now there really is no entrance to the park.
Right.
So the goal was really to make it much more inviting space to the public, to make it way more usable, to hopefully, to push that playground away from the abutter so that the playground was not literally right by their window.
Right.
And
That makes
it was
sense.
to increase parking for the soccer season because it's used a lot, as you know, for soccer.
Yeah.
And all of the cars are just everywhere throughout the whole neighborhood. So like wanting to have more parking up the hill as well. So I think the goal is to do all those cool things.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but the parking is terrible. Yeah, when we go to soccer games, I agree for sure.
And
And
I
when
know
you
that in terms of the plantings, the fall's a really great time to do plantings, or the spring, and not a good time to do it in the summer. Like things just immediately really struggle. So I know that it's likely, too late this year to do it, but I think it also depends. When I talked to Mary Monahan, she said that a lot of companies now, if you go out to bid, they're giving you like that first spring slot.
Okay.
And so it's not so much like a pushing for a bid now that might be higher because it's rushing to get the work done like right away. It's more about like getting first in line for the spring work.
That makes sense. Kind of, I mean, it is opposite of what Tim was pitching, but that would make sense as well. And then just plantings and stuff. When we were down there visiting, we did meet with one of the neighbors. She was over taking care of all the gardens, and she had some concerns. And she was asking if she would be able to continue to maintain plantings and flowers down there. So I think you'd have some good neighbors to help with that, or at least contribute to maintaining it.
Yeah. Well, because we're pushing that part out, and there's supposed to be plantings now between the abutter and the playground, and that whole area that was a garden, that garden has been maintained for decades by the people who live down in that neighborhood. The city's never maintained it. The people who live down there have. So it's important to them that I think that when we do the entrance, that we're creating gardens for them to be maintaining. Otherwise, it's like, well, we had this thing that we did for a long time and now it's suddenly gone.
Take it from them. Yeah, we don't want that. But she was polite. She did give her concerns.
Okay.
At first she was like not upset, but you could see, but we eased her into it. We told her that what was coming, and she definitely liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions or concerns for John? Mary.
Yeah, in regards to the plantings, at some point, Yoni had a grant and they were going to be able to help with a number of trees, I don't know what it was, shrubs or something. And but it had a deadline. I think it was September of 2025. Did we get those? Do anybody know?
Planted already? He was supposed to have them planted?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't.
I've been yawning a lot lately, and I don't remember that being brought up. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so, Mayor. I believe the deadline was this fiscal year. I think it was FY25 fiscal year, so it would have been June 30, and that was missed. But certainly we'll follow up with Yoni to see if something similar can be done again, because he's very good, as I've seen at such things. So yeah.
It would be good because that would defray some of the cost of plantings.
Most definitely.
I would say just again, like, yeah, I've built a decent relationship so far with Yoni, and I can see how he's going to be, we'll benefit each other, but he's an asset for sure. We've met a few times, even with the DPW, but especially more now.
Yep. Any other questions or concerns for John? All right, John, we appreciate you taking some time. We know you're very, very busy. You got a lot going on.
Well, I just,
Pauline, sorry, go ahead.
Wasn't really a question or concern, but I just want to also, recognize, like, I can't imagine the challenge of jumping into projects that have been like ongoing for months and months and months and have had different twists and turns, and then it's you that needs to finish it. And we've talked about this. So so I really appreciate your attention. I mean, it's a position that requires, especially you're coming off the summer, which was, between the pool and everything else, just it is a lot to start this job in June and just go right into the fire. So thank you for, finishing these projects off. And I know, you're looking forward to getting some projects started and being able to be the person to kind of figure out what that's going to be and look like and propose it to us. And so, but I just wanted to acknowledge that appreciation and just that's a bit of an extra challenge for anyone. And so thank you for taking that on.
I appreciate that. It really is a difficult, like I used to do estimating for DMR, like construction and stuff. And I've dealt with that before, picking up where someone left off. And now this is, a lot more money than we were dealing with on some projects over there. And to figure out all the moving factors and people involved, it has been a little much. But that's why I'd say these last few months have been a good learning curve between the pool, these projects and everything. I'm learning. I think next year will be a lot smoother. But I appreciate that. And I just want to say hi to Maribel because I know Maribel from New Orleans.
Welcome, Maribel. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Jones Point's got a lot of moving parts for sure. So it's definitely a complex one. And John's really dived in on each component and is forging ahead to get it done for us. So we'll do what we got to do to make sure it comes out good for everybody and hopefully this spring. And John, we appreciate your time, like I said, and we'll be in contact as we move through the process.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Jay.
All right. Thanks, John.
See you guys.
Thanks, John.
All righty. Agenda item number 4 is, and I do apologize for the late notice on this. I sent out a communication about an hour ago, just with a little brief outline of our eligibility applications. Okay, I'm going to bring those up on my thing. I'm just going to go through those quickly. So we got a total of 16 applications, which is good. I think that's what we want. We want a lot of applications. It helps us, be able to pick the best projects. So St. Paul's Church is the restoration of 3 stained glass windows. Wisteria Hearst Museum is updating the Butler Pantry. The Holyoke Merry-Go-Round would be a restoration of 4 of their carousel horses. Holyoke Health Center, restoration of existing windows for the Russell Osborne building, which is right across the street from City Hall. It's very similar of a project to the Wrights Block project that we funded a couple years back. Nick's Nest, the restoration of the Chicago Bandbox. If anyone's been there, when my wife was pregnant, I was in there 3 times a week. And there's an old fashioned box behind the counter that they put in a request for. Veteran Services, some repairs to the War Memorial, including the foundation, walls, and historic lighting. We have a couple of applications for the granite stairs. One to complete the study. They had been awarded a grant for a study a couple years back, but it turned out that award was not enough money to do the level of study that was required. So this would supplement that award and bring it up to the amount needed to do that study. The second application is for those stairs to be repaired. So it's both the completing of the study and then also the funding of the repair. So I'm not really sure how that would work to make a request for repairs when the study hasn't been completed yet, but we can delve into that. This is about eligibility, so we can delve into that as we move forward. And then the final component of the stained glass windows project, which has been ongoing for years. Those are our historic applications. Our open space projects, we have a number of park and rec ones. Pool yacht pool, which is very nice. Adding some covered areas for folks and some storage. Anniversary field, where a lot of the youth football stuff takes place. Adding bleachers, entry path, shade structures, signage. Springdale Park would include 2 gazebos and public restrooms. The Hoya, there was an application for Roberts Field, but that's been pulled, so we're not going to have that one. Bonnin Field, down in South Holyoke, would be some safety measures, improving the fences, security cameras, signage, bleachers and benches. And then we've got one from Yoni from Office of Conservation and Sustainability, is Anniversary Hill Park Phase 2, which is, I can tell you, a substantial restoration of Scott's Tower, which would include repointing the stone, cleaning up all the graffiti, fixing the stairs, making the first level accessible. This is a second part of a funding that we've done already. And then our last application is for a community garden expansion on Dwight Street. It's at the corner of Dwight and Walnut Street, adjacent to the Holyoke Gas and Electric Gas Division, if anyone's familiar. A couple of blocks up from City Hall. So we do not have this year any applications for community housing. Why, I don't know, but we did not get a single one in this year. So we've been going through eligibility. Myself, Meg, Naomi, we've checked in with Stuart from the state coalition. Many of the projects are pretty straightforward. Many we've done already, or something very similar. The stained glass windows, for example, or some of the parks projects. So we've determined eligibility on those and hope to send out letters this weekend, by the end of this week, to our applicants. Did anybody have any questions or concerns regarding that? It's some really exciting applications. I think I think they're projects that the public will really like. I think they're they're going to be well received. Michael.
Hey, it worked. Mr. Chairman, your fellow colleagues here on the committee never saw those applications as such. You and Megan read the application to determine and qualified by your description. Yep. On the that you published. Yep. And we don't share that knowledge, and I objected to this. I wasn't quite comfortable not seeing what was written and what they're asking for, their philosophy, their history, what they seek to achieve, which is normally what in the past was. We've all read them and we've all qualified them and we all had questions on them. And again, I'm not comfortable with this process. I would prefer to read, as you did, the whole application to determine which is doable and which is not doable, which is practical and which is not practical. I have to say, Mr. Chairman, I'm not happy with this process. I would prefer that everybody get to read the original applications, and it doesn't have to take the time of a full community meeting like we have tonight, but just on our own to read it in full, to appreciate what's behind all these 3 or 4 sentences that you're describing. I would prefer to see, as I said before, I prefer to see the originals and better determine and to weigh the good and the not so good, to award them or not to award them. I just want to let you know, I'm just, as a committee person, I'm not happy with that process.
Yeah, I absolutely can appreciate that. Certainly, I think I'd be very happy to send you all of those applications in full. I think my goal in this summary was just to make it a little bit more digestible because the applications themselves can be a bit wordy, and we were trying to sort of pare it down for folks. But yeah, certainly, I'd always be happy for as much feedback as possible. I think, we had discussed the process a couple of meetings ago and had taken a vote that myself and Naomi would take on the responsibility of this. But if we want to do a different process in the future, I think personally I would feel better doing it that way, Michael, and having everybody go through them. So I certainly apologize in that regard. And I think just what we can do from this point, I think number one, would be certainly happy to share all of those applications with you. We do have a nice spreadsheet that links to the information this evening. And, if anyone, the only issue we have now is time because our full applications are due October 3rd. So we could either take a vote perhaps to extend that deadline and give committee members a little bit of time to digest these applications, or we could, if folks were able to do so, maybe by this Friday, we'd be able to still meet that deadline. Would anybody feel comfortable with either of those options, or do you want to sort of forge ahead with the determinations that Naomi and I recommended? Any comment? Meg?
I know you and I talked about this, and
Mm.
we had talked back and forth around the pressure of time.
Yeah.
But I know that the committee did, take a vote earlier this season, although I'm not sure that everyone understood its meaning. I think maybe some folks thought that it meant that we weren't going to have an eligibility subcommittee this year, but that it was going to, return to the work, the legwork being done by the chair with the staffer. And I agree with that. That's the process that we've used in the past. But I do believe that we've shared all the applications, the eligibility applications with everybody, and that the committee still, I believe, has voted to accept the recommendations for eligibility from the staffer and the chair. So I would certainly be comfortable with following that process.
This year or in the future?
I think it's, I think the committee likely wants to vote on the eligibility applications.
Yeah, and I think honestly,
haven't gotten to look at them.
yeah, and we could do that. I think if we extended, we'd most certainly need to extend the deadline for the full applications in order to make that happen, and perhaps have a special meeting on the topic in a couple of weeks to take such a vote. Would that be something folks would be comfortable with? I'd be very happy to have the feedback. I think what we could do is, in terms of process, is I could send everybody the eligibility spreadsheet, which has all of the applications and all of the information, and I could send a follow-up document which has my recommendations. We could then have a special meeting in 2 weeks to discuss that, and if there are any concerns or disagreements, and then take a vote to accept the recommendations. Would that be something that the committee would be comfortable with?
Unfortunately, I myself have to head to ordinance, as I had told the chair earlier.
Yes.
But the other thing that we've done in the past, Mr. Chair, is they can just be gone through now, right? You can take a few minutes per application, pull it up, read it into the record. It's also, these are public records, right? You can read the eligibility application just into the record. They're short. Most of them are, 2 pages or less. And then just name, and here's, what the, acceptable use was that me and Naomi found, and here's why we found it eligible. And I think it's more just the informational, sharing the thought process, and then asking the committee to vote to accept the recommendations. Or the committee could say, we can support all of them, but we still have questions on this one application. Can you just put that one to the side, move all the rest of them forward, and can that one please go to our city solicitor or to Stuart Saginaw for additional information or support?
Yeah. Mary?
Were there applications that were found ineligible?
There was one that was found ineligible, St. Paul's Church, and then there were a couple of components of other applications. I think, I do like Meg's idea, but I think my concern is I really would like the committee to have time to digest the applications. I feel like it might feel a bit rushed if we were to do so this evening. And I think that we've in our planning have allowed ourselves some buffer to sort of extend our deadlines a bit. So I think the best process truly would be for us to to send out all of the information to the committee, which I can do tonight, and I'll send out the recommendation information, which I can also do tonight. The committee can take some time to sort of sort through that, and I can either call a special meeting in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or we can wait till our next full committee meeting and take a vote on that. Because I think, to Michael's point, like I to be frank, I would love to have the feedback. I would love to have everyone take a look at that. My impression was that folks weren't really interested in getting into that to such detail, but I think it would be great, and I think that we have the time. So I think my recommendation, and if maybe we could get a second, would be that we don't take action on I don't know if we actually need a vote, would be that we don't take action on eligibility at this meeting, and that I will send the information out. We can have a discussion at a future meeting, either via special meeting or at our next November meeting, or I'm sorry, October meeting. Would folks feel comfortable with that? And that would give, because I do like Meg's idea of reading into the record, but I just feel that that's a bit rushed. I feel like, if the committee is going to take a look and really engage a little bit, I think that they should be given a little bit more time and not be put on the spot tonight to have to, make such a call. I think sometimes I know I do my best thinking over the course of several days and not within a couple of minutes. So would everybody feel comfortable with that? And I'll get that info out, and we can have a little bit of a better process.
I do like that idea.
Yeah. I to be honest, I would feel good about that too. And I think
Yeah.
that's okay. We'd still be able to meet our deadlines. I mean, typically our presentations are till January. So there's only one application that would necessitate a historical commission approval. Nick's Nest. All the rest are on either the state or the federal historical register. So that's really one component that would get in the way. And there's only one. So yeah, why don't I get that information out, and we'll think about when to best have that meeting, and we'll move forward with that. Would that be a good solution for folks?
Yes.
And Michael, I appreciate the feedback. I think that's good process, and that's why our committee does well, is we all have our perspectives and we work through it. So I don't know that we really need to take a vote on it, though. I suppose we're just sort of punting at the moment.
That's fine. We're
Yeah.
just asking for more time to consider the eligibility of the forms and read up on them and think about them and not be rushed, because
Yep.
we are
Yep.
affecting somebody's project that may require some more thought.
It's important. It's important we get it right. So
Do we need to take a vote, Jay, to extend the deadline for full applications, given this?
Yeah, to be honest, we probably should, because our the applications as we currently voted would be due October 3rd. And depending on, if we do a special meeting, we'd be before that, but if we waited till our next one. So can we do this? I'll put out a proposal that we extend our full application due date indefinitely until we are able, and we will establish that at our next meeting with eligibility. And once we establish eligibility, I'll then send the follow-up letters to our applicants stating, we'll decide what day when we do eligibility, and I'll be able to let our applicants know then. And I can also send them a note beforehand to let them know that they'll have plenty of time to do their full applications. How about that? So the motion would be just to extend our full application deadline from October 3rd, indefinitely, and we'll determine it at our next meeting on the topic. Is there a second on that?
So moved.
All right, motion made and seconded. I'm going to call a roll call vote on that as we have to do. Helene,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Meg had to step out. Michael,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Jay, yes, and Maribel.
Yes.
All right, so I will follow up with that information. I have it all put together pretty neatly, so we'll be able to get that out to you this evening. All right. So agenda item number 5 is pretty quick. Our survey is out. I believe everyone has been sent that survey. I know some folks have submitted answers to that survey. I would just encourage everyone to please share that with your networks, social media, folks that you know from your various committees. The goal is just to get as good of a sample of what our residents in our city want from us. And I've spoken with Rebecca briefly about just working on our community preservation plan and updating the demographic data for us. As I said last meeting, it's an excellent plan, and a lot of the demographic data was from maybe 2016 or something like that. So just working to make those updates, and then we can also update the survey information once that's completed. So that would be the update on that. Agenda item number 6 was also just a discussion of term limits for officers. We had brought that up last meeting, and I think if it's all right with the committee, I'd again ask that we push that to our next meeting. I'd like Meg to be here for that conversation as a longtime chair, and she's been involved. I just think it's a decision best made when we're at full capacity, and we're just at a partial group at this time. So I would just ask that we move on from that, and then we'll bring it up again in our October meeting.
Was it tabled before, and does it need a vote to be tabled again?
It was tabled, and I believe we should take a vote to table it again, just to cover ourselves. So the motion would just be to table agenda item number 6, a discussion of term limits for officers to our October meeting. And just the reason being, be good to have everybody here, especially Meg, who served in the positions.
I second it.
Second, thank you very much. Helene,
Sure.
Mary,
Yes.
Meg is not here. Michael,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Jay, yes, and Maribel.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, agenda item number 7. I'm sorry, Lauren.
Okay, I told you via email that I needed to go, and
Yes,
you're now past the point that I said I needed to go. So I'm gonna run, and I will see everybody next time.
Lauren, we thank you. We'll see you next meeting, and I'll get you that information shortly.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. So agenda item number 7, in the past, and it's also in our bylaws, this committee has had a treasurer position. We did away with that before I was on the committee, and I think in part because Daniel Koff was a financial consultant and sort of oversaw some of the financial components of our committee. But as I've sort of settled into the chair position, it's really become clear to me that there would be great value in having a committee member serve in that position, and keeping an eye on me, keeping an eye on Daniel, somebody with with an eye on the finances aside from myself. I feel like essentially the chair has sort of absorbed that position. And while I don't mind, the responsibility, I just think we'd function best if there were a treasurer. And I wanted to just bring that up at this meeting and have folks perhaps think about it for a future discussion. Perhaps we'd take a vote at a future meeting. Mary.
Why don't we just make a motion now?
Well, I don't know if anybody would be willing to serve. I mean, would anybody in this meeting be interested in the position? That's the issue. So I think I hope that perhaps in time somebody may be interested in stepping into that spot. I think I just wanted to bring forward that idea that we would, I think we would do our work best if we had a treasurer in addition to Daniel doing the work. But I understand everybody's very busy. A lot of folks on our committee are on multiple committees and certainly have personal responsibilities as well. So that was just the discussion point there. I just wanted to sort of plant that seed for us. Agenda item number 8. I just wanted to make a public acknowledgement of the employees that support our committee. I'll say this: if anyone ever serves as chair of this committee, it's essential to have a good working relationship with the employees of the city of Gloutak. They're the ones who, where the rubber's hitting the road, and they're doing this work for us. And I have to say, like, they've just been beyond good to us. They're very responsive. They're very kind. They're very talented people. And I just wanted to name a few of them because I think it's important. The auditor's office, Tanya is our auditor, but also someone who works in her department, Sharon Bittner-Willis, is somebody that's really helped us out. I can reach out to Sharon and she gets right back and just answers questions and has been really phenomenal. The purchasing department they're the star of the month for us. Jamie and Mari go out of their way to help us. We had some technical issues, with Munis and with the VPN system, and they were able to step up and help our committee out. Personnel, certainly we've been in transition with our admin and Kelly, and in particular Antoinette from the personnel department has just done an amazing job. If I email Antoinette, she gets back to me with solving the problem within like 3 minutes. It's honestly astounding. She's so great to us. And I just had to mention how good Antoinette is. If you ever see her in public, please thank her for us. The city solicitors, Lisa Ball, and then Michael Bissonette as well. We kind of get into some pretty heavy contract stuff, and they're not just mailing it in. They're digging deep. They're asking questions. They're really pushing it and doing their job well and been very responsive and, again, very kind to us. So I just want to make sure to mention that. And then Rory, our city treasurer, again. I know for a fact that Rory's very busy. He's got 1,000,001 things to do. And he's taken time. He's gone out of his way a number of times with trainings and just helping us with, making sure we're having good process with our financial stuff. And, for somebody who has as much responsibility and as much on his plate as he does, I really appreciate all the good work that he does. So I just wanted everybody to know that and to read that into the public record. Working with our city government has been a great experience, and I just want everybody to be clear on that. And then old business. Monday, I went to the City Council Finance Subcommittee meeting. They spoke very highly of our committee. I think that we have a reputation for good work. I think they've respected the job that we've done. We've been very transparent, very clean in our process, and I think that that's helpful for us. So the 2 agenda items that came up was our FY26 budget, which was approved, sent to the full committee. I completely anticipate that being unanimously approved by the city council. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. And then our small grants proposal was taken up, and that was also very well received. The only pushback we got on that was the idea that it's completely pre-approved. I think the council wants a little bit of accountability on that, and they suggested that perhaps we could have the entire process, but prior to final approval, that we would bring the proposal before the full council and they'd be able to sign off. And they even suggested that they would likely not send that to subcommittee and just approve it or discuss it right in full council there. So our process would be quick. But it was a great meeting, and I just think, certainly it was clear that they have a lot of respect for our committee. So that's the update on that. And if there aren't any other questions or concerns, we can adjourn the meeting.
When's our next meeting, Mr. Chairman?
It'll be the second Wednesday of October, and I can give you the date right now, sir. It would be October 8th at 6 p.m. And I will, and that's assuming we don't have a special meeting to address the eligibility, and certainly we'll be in contact with that. Mary.
That's what I was going to ask. How
Yes.
will you know? How will that decision be made?
Well, I think I'll send out an email to everybody with the information, and then perhaps I can take the temperature and see if we'll be able to have a meeting beforehand. And if not, then we can push it to our October meeting.
And in that
That-
case, would be another meeting in September, then it would be another Wednesday.
Likely, but I think, we'd be more flexible with that as it's outside of our typical meeting time. So Rebecca, just for your information, we do try to have all of our regular meetings the second Wednesday of the month at 6 o'clock. It's just, I find it easier for planning purposes, and we've had good attendance doing that, so. But thank you for everything. We appreciate everybody, and it was a good, healthy meeting, and we'll forge ahead.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Have a good
Thank you.
night.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good night,
Good
everybody.
evening.
Good night.